Hey quilters, it's Marianne again. Well, I'm getting ready for the holidays and I am working on one of the newest AccuQuilt Applique dies called Go Mittens. I'm actually going to, this was just launched I think on October 19th, and I've been very busy working on it. I did design 2 patterns for them for the launch, and if you were there you saw them, and that was the set of 6 ornaments, and then I did a Advent wreath garland with the 24 days of Christmas with good deeds sayings on it. So it's really kind of cute. And it's basically an Advent garland with 24 mittens that are reversible, and they have a pocket in it, and inside each pocket you could print Advent messages. So it's fun. You can hang it out a doorway or anything else. Anyway, these 2 patterns are available from AccuQuilt directly. What I'd like to share with you now is a pattern that I've designed using the same die, but I created a wall hanging, and it's a mitten tree. So I wanted to show you how I made it. Let's look at the die first. This is the Mittens Die, and that is item number 55564. And this is the die board. I cut out 3 different fabrics. I used a red, primarily a red Christmas fabric, a white, these are both snowflake, and then this, which I had, which were green presents. So these are my mittens, and I've decided I need 24 mittens in total, so I've cut out 8 of each colorway, prefuse the fabric first, then cut. For each 8 mittens, you would need a piece 16 by 10 inches, and you should get 8 mittens out of it. And that is that first shape on the die board. Then there is a cuff, and I need 24 mittens total, so I've cut out 24 cuffs, and I've actually used a fusible fleece. It's a pre-fused fleece that I purchased, and I just went ahead and cut them. And I'm only using snowflakes. There's also a snowflake, which is really cute to put on the mittens, but I'm using this as background decoration. So I've cut, I believe, 10 of these out. And this is pre-fused felt, which makes it super easy and super quick to do. So what else do I need? That is making the tree. You have the 24 mittens. We have 3 stars on the top, and I've used the Go star, the 4-inch size star, which is from 55028 die board, and I've prefused my gold stars and then cut them on the die. For the background, if you look at it, and there's actually 3 different colorways. There's a top, which is a darker blue, the middle section, which is like a winter scene, the bottom, which is like a blue-brown to make it look like a ground, and then a little bit of brown. I've used the 5-inch, it's a 5-inch strip cut, 5.5-inch cutter, which finishes at 5 inches. My overall size of the wall hanging is 20 by 40, so it divided by 5 easily. So I use the 5.5-inch strip cutter to make 5-inch strips. I cut 1 for the sky fabric, 1 strip across. I cut 4 for the winter scene, and I did not cut strips. I did cut 1 strip in the dark blue, but then I turned it at the 90 degree and I cut squares. I made 4 squares, and then I did the same for the dark brown, which was the center of the tree. So I've got all my pieces cut. I'm ready to go. I'm going to sew the background together, and then we're going to fuse it in place. And these are the bottom 3 rows of the background fabric, and these are all cut on the 5.5-inch strip cutter and then put on the 90-degree angle, cut as squares. So as you can see, I have 2 of the winter scene, and that's what I'm calling the main background, winter scene. And there's 1 on each side, and there's 6 brown ones in the middle, which will be the tree trunk or the inside of the mitten tree. And then the 2 darker blue on either side is supposed to represent like the ground, a snowy ground, but it's a darker color than the forest. So that is the layout for the bottom 3 sections, and then we're going to just sew rows of the winter scene to the top of this, and then the very last strip is going to be the 5.5-inch strip in the blue sky fabric. I sewed the first 4 rows together of the background, and I just wanted to show you, I decided to press them as opposite directions so that the seams would kiss. If you look, this row is pressed this way, this row is pressed this way, and this row is pressed this way. And the reason I do that
is so that when I put these two seams together and I sew it, I can get a perfect point. See the way that matches?
My background is completely sewn. And what I ended up doing, the pattern calls for, as we talked about, the squares, and everything's a 5.5-inch strip cutter. So there's 6 brown ones, 2 blue. These are squares cut from the 5.5-inch strip cutter. 6 brown, 4 dark blue, and then there were 2 of the winter scene, and then there were supposed to be 3 strips, 5.5-inch cut strips that you sew together. But I made 1 piece, and then I made another 5.5-inch strip, and I actually manually cut this 1 piece. And as you can see, I have selvage over here, so I'm gonna have to trim it a little. But it's supposed to be 20 by 40 finished. So now I'm going to get all my applique pieces and place them down. I don't know if you've noticed, but behind here I've put actually a towel. I'm on my design table where I usually work from, but if I'm going to spend the time to put all the appliques and lay them down and arrange them on this, I want to be able to press them in place at least light enough so I can get to an ironing board. I don't want to use the ironing board because I can only do a portion at a time, and I'll never be able to see the entire design. I don't have an ironing board big enough. I don't have one of those double wides. So I'm using this table and I'm putting towels under it, and let's go lay out the pieces. I've taken all my pieces out and I've counted them. I have 24 of the cuffs. And I use the middle piece here, the cuffs, and I cut them out. They still have their paper backing on them, and I will take them off at some point. I'm going to just kind of place them now, see how we do, and then I'll go back and peel them off. But anyway, this is 24 of these, and I do have a little extra here just in case something happens and I need a piece at the last minute. I have the snowflakes, and I've made the other projects, and I've used actually the snowflake on the mitten. It looks adorable, and if you get this peel back felt, you sell it in the craft stores. All you do is cut the shape, peel the thing off, plunk it down, and the thing like stays on forever. Don't try to move it. It won't work. Anyway, so I've just made these snowflakes because I'm going to embellish around the tree once I'm done. And I've randomly made 10. You could make more or less or whatever you want. I've made 10. I started with 6. I thought 8 would be good. And then when I went to cutting, I made 10. So that was my logic. I have my stars. I'm a little concerned about my stars. I used a shiny gold fabric that I thought would be nice. And I may have melted the fusible onto the back because it's changed colors and the sparkles aren't so great. But we're going to see if it'll work, and if not, we're going to go back and cut some more. But I've made 3 just because they say odd numbers seem to do better, and I thought 5 was too many. So that was my logic for using 3. And then, of course, the mittens. And here's my layout. So what I'm going to do first, I think, is I'm going to start at the top and just lay them all out in a color sequence, and then we can start arranging. I decided to peel off all the paper first with the fusible, and because the cuffs really should be put on the mittens, the little white foamy cuffs should be put on the mittens. Oh, I took this one off before you lay it down because it's going to take up room. So what I've decided to do is just take the pieces and gently place them over the top so I can kind of use them as a pair, and then I can press them down together at one time. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, some of the cuts I made were a little wonky, but I didn't really worry about it because I'm going to put the cuff up there. I decided to lightly press some of these pieces of the cuffs together because on the green they're not sticking at all, and then just to put them together to stack them didn't make much sense. So I've taken out a little mini iron that I'm going to use and gently press them down. I'm going to show you a ceramic tile, and I've put, if you can see, felt feet at the bottom on each corner. So I've made it like a little, fireproof tray, and I use that to set it on. You can actually just set it on it, and it's fine. I'm going to use the little stand. I do not recommend you use a glass jar. The hot element, if left too long against the glass jar, could shatter the glass, and you might have a problem with that. So to fuse the cuffs to the bottoms, I actually used
the ceramic tile for that as well, and I took a pressing mat and just laid it over, and I did 3 at a time. And I've kind of decided I can kind of go like 5 times, and that's perfect. And I can go to the next one, and then we'll put this one back in place, just like that. And because I'm under the mat, the fusible that's on the back of these mitts will not stick, and I can peel them away. So just give it a second, then I can just go ahead and peel them away. And they're one piece, and then I can handle them as a single piece, and it makes it much easier for decorating. I'm gonna get that picture out, see if I can refer to it, and I'm just gonna try to start. Just do random placement at the moment. Trying to look at how far down it goes to about here, I guess. Now, in the drawing that I have on the photo, I had 2 greens and a red, and I have these white ones, and I'm finding the white ones a little hard to see, so I'm going to try and put them kind of somewhere, maybe a little bit, not so many stick. Oh, I missed one of these. Oh, no problem. Give it a quick press over here. I'll go back to it in a minute. Get myself in a pickle here, huh? That's okay. It's all good. All good. Yeah. It doesn't all have to be perfect. But I don't want it to look like stripes, you know? I'm gonna break it up a little. So what do you think? Okay, I'm going to play with a little, and I'll show you my final design. That's basically all you have to do. I'm going to probably try to widen this out a little, bring a couple of the greens in, and then we can talk about it, and I will press it down, and we'll add stars and snowflakes. Okay, this is my final layout. I repositioned it, I think, 15 times. It got longer, and I moved it down as I went, and I gave bigger. So I peeled off the stars, and I think I'm going to be okay. They seem to be willing to stick down. So I'm going to put the 3. Somebody once said, you know, odd numbers are better. And I thought I was going to put 1 large star, and I didn't like it. So I decided I'm going to put 3 up at the top. And then I have my snowflakes. And I think I did 10. I haven't peeled them off yet, but I'm just going to kind of show you, because I'm just going to kind of randomly. I have 10, so I want 5 for each side. And that doesn't mean you have to make 10. You can make 6. You can make none. You can make 20. It's really a personal choice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing a snowflake. Anyway, I will lay them down, press them in. I am going to use my little clover tool. I did put towels under here for the specific reason that I could go around like this and at least position them exactly where I wanted them, and then take them over to the iron and really seal them in place. But this is going to help me keep them from moving when I bring it to the iron, and I can just pick up the towel if I want at that point. So I'm going to continue just pressing these down, and I'm going to position the snowflakes and the stars. And I will show you the final layout that I did. You can use more mittens if you want, or less. You could use a bigger star. I almost did a piece 8-pointed star, but then I decided this was easier. And so there you go. That's my Go Mittens tree. After I pressed the mittens and everything, I decided there was too much open space at the bottom, and so I wanted to fill it in. So I selected some additional fabric. One was a gold, a red with a little bit of gold sparkles, and the other was a multicolored batik I had that had reds, gold, green, so I thought it would go well. I ended up cutting out one 3x6 rectangle. Actually, it's 3.5x6 because that's the cut size, and I didn't do anything with it. It's raw edge. I did fuse all the backs of them, but anyway, I did one. It's a 12-inch cube shape, 8 the rectangle. Then I did from the 8-inch cube, the number 1 shape. I did 2 red and one of them multicolored batiks. And then I went to the 6-inch cube and I made 2 of the shape number 1 square in the multicolor. I did found some really sparkly gold that I put some fusible on that seemed to react better than the stuff I used for the stars. And that's what I ended up doing. And I used a 1/2-inch strip cutter with the fusible, and I cut a couple strips for the gifts.
So this is the final version. I ended up using white thread on everything, and I didn't embellish it. I had gold cord. I'd actually sewn it on. I didn't like it. I cut it off. I really decided that it was really cute the way it was, and it didn't need extra embellishment. So it's 20 by 40 finished. I do have a pattern I sell, of course. You can follow the directions from the video. You do not have to buy it. But if you'd like to support and encourage me to make more videos, I'd be grateful. It is available on my Etsy site. It's $5 for the pattern. But feel free to use the information in the video to make the Mittens Tree Wall Hanging. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a happy holiday and happy quilting.